Hey everybody, Steve here once again at Forest Lawn in the Hollywood Hills, and I'm here to visit a number of famous and notable people who have been laid to rest here in the last couple of years, and it's been a couple of years since I've been here. And one of those famous people is rapper, singer, actor, and TV personality Aaron Carter. Now, before he died, I never listened to any of his songs. I knew he was because he was the brother of Nick Carter of the Backstreet Boys, and I've always liked the Backstreet Boys. So when Aaron Carter became famous, he became really, really famous, and I think everyone probably heard about him, but I just assumed, he was very young, so I assumed his music was not music that I wouldn't be interested in listening to, so I never did listen to any of his music when he was alive. But when he died so tragically in 2022, I did do a tribute video, a short tribute video on my channel about him, and at that time I Googled some of his songs just out of curiosity, and there was one song that he covered called Iko Iko. Who's familiar with that song? Back in the 1960s, when I was growing up, I was just a kid, probably around his age at the time, Iko Iko was a very, very popular song on the radio, at least here in the Los Angeles area. I think it became a top 20 hit in the Billboard Top 100 Hits chart, and even became an international hit song back in 1965 by the girl group the Dixie Cups. Remember them? That song was so popular on the radio here, it played all the time, and it was a really good song. And I really liked the song. And I saw that he covered that song. I played it on YouTube or somewhere, and I really liked it. I was really surprised. In fact, I think I liked it better than the original. It was, I think, a little bit more up-tempo, a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more fun, and it's really a good song. So I was very impressed. Now, he had lots of hit songs. He had some really huge hit songs. His first album sold over 1 million copies, and then I think his follow-up albums did just as well, or maybe even better. So, yeah, he was extremely successful. Unfortunately, I think he just had issues like so many entertainers do, singers especially, with drugs, and died at the young age of 34 on November 5th, 2022. He was cremated, and his ashes are interred here, or inured, in a really nice location, and there's an image of him on the face of the columbarium niche. I also just happened to notice on his Find a Grave memorial page that 3 of his sisters also died young. How sad is that, to have 4 siblings all die young in a very famous family? It's so sad to hear things like that. I think right after he first died, I remember his sister saying that she wanted his ashes to be in a very public area where all of his fans could visit. So it was nice to hear that a family member actually did want people to visit their famous relative. Sadly, way too often you hear about family members who don't want their famous loved ones to be, well, I don't want to say remembered. I was going to say remembered, but they probably are okay with them being remembered, but they, for some reason, whatever reason, they don't want fans to visit their grave sites, which I find very sad and just hard to understand. But, we're all different. We all think differently. Yeah, especially when it comes to death and grieving and the whole topic. A lot of people are just, we all have very, very different ideas about what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, what's respectful, what's not respectful. So everyone has the right to do what they want after they're dead. Or I guess at least their family members have the right to do what they want or make the decisions they want after their loved one is dead, if the loved one didn't make plans in advance. So, there's a helicopter going over, it's kind of loud. The cemetery can be very, very busy. There's a lot going on, which I like. I think I've said to you before. Well, I know I've said that before on this channel. I always like cemeteries that are busy and very alive, very active, lots of things going on. It just feels nicer than just a sad, lonely cemetery somewhere where famous or not famous people are just forgotten over time. So places like this, you don't get forgotten, which is nice. So, as always, thanks for joining me on another trip down memory lane, another trip to the cemetery, and I hope you'll all join me again on my next trip.